You know who it is, everybody. I am back once again with another video. Today I am sharing a kind of a story time / vlog with you guys about my pregnancy scare. I'm going to let you guys know in advance, it's kind of a trigger warning that there is a good ending to this story. This is not like a bad story. It's really just like kind of a lesson learned on why it's important to do your research on where you get your prenatal care. Girl, you know you're cute. Going back to the end of my first trimester. Right around the end of my first trimester, I told you guys, and I also vlogged about me going home for Thanksgiving, feeling a lot better, being able to eat more, the nausea had kind of died down, and really going home, I really got my second wind back. I'm like, yes, I can't wait to get back to Houston. I'm gonna get my apartment back in order. I'm gonna start shooting videos. Like, I'm ready to get back to my life and doing things and living. I come back to Houston. I think I had a good week of feeling good. And then the shit hit the fan. And it's so crazy because I was like, really, I had a concern, like after being that sick and feeling that bad, like I never wanted to go back there. So I was like, okay, I need to look into like getting my booster shot. You guys know I've been vaccinated. Maybe I need to look into getting my booster shot and decide whether I want to do that or not. I even talked to Big about him getting it because he does go to work every day. So, you know, he doesn't bring anything home to me. And we had this conversation like right before I came home. I come home, I don't know, I guess it had been a week, maybe like a week and a half. The following week, Big comes home and says that his throat is kind of itchy. So I'm like, back up, bruh. You might have to sleep on the couch tonight or something because you are not about to get me sick. I finally feel better. You are not about to bring me back down to that level with some sickness. He had a little tickle in his throat. He was still going to work, felt fine or whatever. By that Wednesday, he was full-blown sick. He was in the bed, looking all feeble. Y'all know how men get when they get sick. They just be all... And it just so happened that on the day that he got sick, I had a doctor's appointment. So I went out. I actually had to leave the house that day. I went to the doctor's appointment. Everything was fine. I think I had an ultrasound, all the usual stuff. And then they told me that my next appointment would be my anatomy scan. So that's exciting. Like I'll be 20 weeks. I'll get to see like a more detailed look at the baby. I'll get to know that everything's okay with the baby physically. I'll get more pictures of the baby. So that was really exciting. Like, yes, my halfway mark is like in sight. I'm on my way. I scheduled the anatomy scan, and then after that I had another regular prenatal visit, I guess, to like follow up. The anatomy scan was with a different office, so I would do that, and then like a couple weeks later I go to my usual OBGYN and she kind of reviews everything they found with the scan. As I'm leaving, I decided to stop at Target, or Big asked me to bring him like some stuff for his cold or whatever. So I stopped at Target to get like some Pedialyte, you know, other stuff that might make him feel better. But of course I was in Target and I hadn't been in Target for a while. So I ended up being in there for like a few hours. Ended up coming home with a whole Christmas tree and decorations. It was a little mini tree. Y'all know how it is when you go into Target. So I'm just like living it up. Come home. He's still sick. Like, he's really sick now in the bed. Like, I'm bringing him tea and he just looks so pitiful. And I'm just like, don't get me sick. Do not get me sick. So I make some tea for myself as I like put the Christmas tree together. And I'm feeling okay. But as the day went on, my throat started feeling kind of sore. And I was like, no, please God, no. Big is feeling better by the next day. But I told him you probably shouldn't go to work still. So he stays home for like the next couple of days. And meanwhile, I'm sick now. So I'm like, okay, great. You gave this to me. So I'm at home sick as a dog, laying in the bed because that's at this point all I want to do. And now like my spirit's kind of broken because I'm like, I finally got better. And here I am back at square one, stuck in the bed sick. But it really just feels like a regular cold. So I'm like, I'll probably be over this in a day or two. I'm just going to sleep it off, get my fluids, and I'll be back and better than ever. I know I look crazy right now. I'm about to come on here and tell y'all about how this guy gave me COVID while pregnant.
You shouldn't be messing with random guys then. Oh, you talking about me?
Are you the random guy? So we did it at home. He already tested positive.
Don't forget you came back from Maryland.
Okay, so first of all, I went to Maryland for Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And I told him while I was in Maryland, you probably should go ahead and get your booster. I'm still deciding whether I want to get one, but you should definitely get one because he goes to work every day. So he acting all whatever-ish about it. So didn't get it, needless to say. I come back, I'm fine.
But we don't know that because you was around people too. And you did tell me your friend called you and said, hey, how's anybody feeling? Because I'm not feeling well.
She doesn't have COVID. She didn't have COVID.
We don't know.
She got tested. She didn't have COVID.
She got tested prematurely. So I did forget about that.
You can't get tested prematurely and have symptoms.
Poor thing.
We got at home. He tested positive at CVS. He just got his results today. So he got me an at-home test, y'all. You supposed to wait 15. We still have 10 minutes left. It wasn't even a minute before. Let me show you. Not even seconds later, this line pop. Look how red it is. There's no, it's not even a pink. It's supposed to be a pink line, right? Pink or purplish. It's red. This turned red before this one even turned pink. So, like, there's no doubt that I definitely have COVID. And I must have a whole lot. So, I'm in the bed Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, today. Friday, I wake up to a call from my doctor to tell me that they want me to come in to discuss my AFP test. I'm laying there. Big comes home during his lunch break. So right around the time of his lunch break, I get a call. So as he walks in the door, I'm answering a call from my doctor. They called to tell me my results came back and the doctor wants to speak to me about my results. Now y'all know, you don't even have to be pregnant to understand this. Anytime you take a test at a doctor's office, you do not want to get a call about the test. It was the AFP test. I had already had an NIPT test. For those of you who don't know, the NIPT test for chromosomal abnormalities is usually suggested for women over the age of 35 because you're more likely to potentially have those issues. I'm not over 35, but the doctor told me that it's more accurate than the AFP. AFP, I think, is what they give everybody. NIPT is for like older, geriatric, whatever. But it also tells you the gender. So really the only reason I got the NIPT was because I wanted to know the gender early. So I did that. Everything came back low risk. Cool. But then the doctor said, now we're going to do the AFP test. And now that we know you're low risk for chromosomal abnormalities, we still want to check and make sure there's no neural tube defects or like spina bifida, things like that. And she wouldn't tell me anything over the phone. She said, I can't tell you anything over the phone. She wants you to come in so she can talk to you. This is on a Friday. So now I have to wait all weekend to find out what was going on. And I'm freaking out. I got off the phone. I started crying because I'm like, oh my God, something's wrong with the baby. I started Googling. So at this point, I figured worst case scenario, the baby might have spina bifida and they would potentially have to do, apparently they could do surgery on it while the baby is still in utero. I don't want to have to do that. Nobody wants to have to do that. And even if it's not that, there's a potential that I may be at higher risk for preeclampsia. So that's a whole nother thing, which means that I might be at risk of eclampsia. And I'm not even gonna go through, if you wanna know about that stuff, look it up. I'm not even gonna rack my brain to try to remember what I researched on it because like I said, the end of the story is good, so I'm gonna just keep rolling. So I'm freaking out, I'm crying, I'm heartbroken, like something's wrong, like with my baby. And it's really like upsetting me. It's upsetting me and my homegirls because I called my mother, I called my sister, I called my father, and all of them told me to go up to the doctor's office and cuss them out. Because why would you have a pregnant woman wait 3 days to find out what's going on with her test results? Like, at least tell me something so I don't have to just sit here and panic all weekend. See, yeah, my home test was like super positive. I got COVID. Something might be wrong with my baby. Something might be wrong with me. I don't know what's, like, my head is spinning at this point and I am stressed, okay? Stressed. The worst part was, you know, having to wait and then tell me something. Now, what makes it even worse is that the doctor's office is like really strict. Big can't even come to my appointments because of COVID. I have to come solely by myself. Now that I have COVID, I have to tell the doctor's office that I tested positive because I don't want to put any other women at risk. And they tell me, well, let us know when you're negative. According to the CDC, you could test positive for weeks or months at a time. So I'm like, surely y'all not about to wait until I'm about to give birth to let me come back into the office.
Sorry I missed your call. I'm either on a call or away from it.
This is what pissed me off about this doctor's office. You open at 9, it's 9:05. I have an appointment at 10. How are you not answering the phone? And then they got a voicemail like it's a personal line. It just makes zero sense. The sad thing is I was just getting to the point where I was kind of accepting that, you know, maybe I could just, you know, stick with this doctor. But I don't like about the medical field, period. I'm sorry I look crazy, but it is what it is. It's so like, for one, you could barely have access to your doctor. Like, I shouldn't have to beg to get a doctor on the phone. At least, like, back home, I had my usual OBGYN. I could call the office sometimes and he would answer himself. I could call him right now with questions and he might, if he doesn't answer, he'll at least get back to me within the day. But this is crazy. I'm going to try to call them again. I'm just have to keep blowing them up until they answer. Hi, I was calling because I have an appointment today at 10, but I've been sick over the weekend, and I tested positive for COVID with the home test yesterday. Okay, that wasn't so bad. So basically they're saying that I have to, the doctor's going to call me about the results from my blood test at some point. Of course, they're not telling me when. I asked if it would be today, and she said, well, we're already running behind. You just opened at 9 o'clock. How are you already running behind? And I had an appointment at 10, so regardless of whether you're running behind or not, you should be able to squeeze me in today. But hopefully she calls me today, and I'm thinking, like, since I have COVID, maybe that'll put a little urgency behind it, so she'll go ahead and call me at least to see, you know, how I'm doing, and then go ahead and give me the results. I think I waited about a week. I think I waited a few days, like after I started feeling better, got tested, was still positive. Mind you, this is right around Christmas, so I'm not going home because I don't want to put my family at risk, so that flight was canceled. I tested positive right before I was supposed to leave for Christmas, and my anatomy scan was supposed to be like the week after that. I called the doctor's office, and I asked them, like, okay, I know you guys want a negative test from me. I might not test negative for 3 months. So what do we do in that case? Long story short, someone called me back. I think it was a nurse there. And they said, okay, we're going to move your appointment to the end of the day so we can like kind of clear everybody out. You'll come at the very end of the day. So less exposure for everybody else. So I said, okay, I'm going to get my appointment. I still got to wait a few days, but I got my appointment. That weekend, got tested negative, told them that. So they were like, fine. Finally got to the appointment. The doctor gives me the paper with my blood results and tells me that it's weird because it's reading that I'm positive for a high AFP. So basically like there's a range that you want your AFP to be in. Don't ask me to break the science down about this, I'm not a doctor. But there's a range, like a numerical range that you want it to be in. And mine, according to her reading of the results, was within that range, but for some reason, they marked me as positive. She tried to call the lab to like get an explanation. She couldn't get them on the phone, I guess. So yeah, she was basically saying like, what we're gonna do is look at the baby today with the ultrasound, just to kind of look at his spine and his skull and make sure everything looks fine. And then from there, you'll have your anatomy scan, and that'll be like the definite, like they'll get to see. Really? From that point, I'll have my anatomy scan, which was a couple days later, and they'll be able to see everything. So they did my ultrasound, said everything looked fine. The only thing they couldn't see was like, I guess his tailbone, like the very end of his spine, because their ultrasound doesn't, I guess, get a full picture. That's what happened. As I'm leaving the appointment, I look at the results that she gave me, and it says insulin dependent diabetic, and it said yes. So I'm like, why would it say that? So I called the doctor's office, asked them. Girl who answered the phone was like, yeah, that's weird. Let me ask about that. She asked about it. She said, we're going to have to give you a call back after we get some more answers. Okay. Someone else calls me later. They're going to have to rerun your tests. So I'm still confused. Like, this is not a test for diabetes. How is it saying that I'm diabetic? At this point, it's looking like it's a lot of mistakes being made. And it's putting added stress on me for no reason. So I'm getting upset. All right, guys. Today is Thursday. What's the day? December 30th. I am officially 20 weeks pregnant, halfway through. Big and I are on our way to my anatomy scan, which I'm so excited about because it's when they measure the baby, you get a good look at him. But I wonder if they offer 3D. I think I told you guys about how my AFP test came back elevated or something. So basically the AFP test tests for things like Down syndrome and chromosomal, is that right?
I've never heard that word. You probably just made that up.
No, I didn't.
Your Facebook group.
abnormalities with the chromosomes.
She make up diseases. Her and her Texas Facebook group, the pregnant women.
He just don't know nothing. Chromosomal abnormalities. I feel like a doctor. Big shed of thug tear. Apparently, I ain't see it, but he told me later.
Can't never see a gangster cry.
Still nervous, but I'm thinking like, okay, the baby probably doesn't have spina bifida because the chances are low. I took my prenatals. I got my folic acid, so I should be good. But if I'm at a high risk of preeclampsia, I need to watch my diet. So I'm still like freaking out and feeling a way about it. And even after she told me, like, it put me a little at ease because she said it's rare. But I'm still like nervous and hating I have to wait so long to get answers. Move me.
I know it's random.
It's well, you're thinking about food.
I haven't eaten. I'm starving.
I haven't eaten any. All I was Anshore. Because I ain't had no blueberry muffin to eat with it. Because somebody be crushing my blueberry muffins every day. Him and his son.
I say blame the child.
It's just been a very tumultuous 2 to 3 weeks. How long it's been? December has been crazy.
It's been about 2-3 weeks.
I might have been fine this whole time. They just had me stressing out for no reason. So now I'm thinking I might need another doctor. Because what worries me, like, okay, maybe the lab just screwed up. It bothers me that you work with a lab that's that shabby. So let's say the lab screwed up. How did you as my doctor not notice that my paperwork said that I was insulin dependent diabetic?
Did you fart?
No.
You don't smell that?
I can't smell that
Sure your
good.
booty didn't breathe.
I'm positive. I can't really smell nothing.
Exactly.
No, I definitely didn't fart. But basically, like, it bothers me that she didn't even notice that they put that I was diabetic. And she didn't say anything about it. So if I hadn't asked, no one would have noticed. They had that it was unknown whether I was a smoker. It's not unknown. I'm pretty sure I filled out a form saying that I don't smoke. And they had that I was diabetic. Like, what the hell? Because I've seen people record in the ultrasound, but for some reason my doctor don't let me record. Talking about my message machine. I don't believe it. Just like I don't believe that using your phone on a plane is gonna make a plane crash. I don't believe it. And yes, I do be cutting my phone on before we even land.
So does everybody in America.
Exactly. And do we crash? No, we make it every time.
Toes.
Oh, that's crazy.
Look how perfect.
He
It
chilling.
looks kind of big. I might show you 3D just to show you. I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty big.
Well, I say that.
How blown up is this?
It's magnified a little bit.
Every time I put it on, I'm like, wow, that's a big thing. I'm looking at it also.
He's stressed out. Look at him.
I still can do all this movement that's going on, and I just don't even feel it.
I think your placenta's in the front. I think that's why. No, it's in the back. You're feeling something really soon.
I feel a little something here and there, but seeing it move like on the.
Here you go.
If I say his mouth is moving. Is he eating? What is he doing?
They drink the water inside.
Wow.
Got thirsty, Daddy.
Let's see, 5 fingers.
Ready too. He almost has it.
Yes. He's sucking his thumb.
Oh my god.
Whoops.
Take me out for dinner. Alright guys, so we got a little bit of video as you saw in the sonogram. They said everything, the tech said everything looked good. And she said she think the test might be a false positive.
What everybody else said.
I think the test was just wrong. I don't even think it was a false positive. I think they just used somebody else's blood or something. So we got some pictures. She gave us 1-3. So I was gonna do the 3D package, but I was like, wait, is this baby developed enough? And I asked her, I was like, so is this a fully developed baby? Because I don't want to get 3D if it's gonna look like an alien. It scared me. But she did give us one little 3D picture, and sure enough, he looks like a little vampire baby. And she said everything looks good, so all that worrying for nothing. Now I'm about to have my McDonald's breakfast because I'm hungry. And I'm going to go home and cook somebody else breakfast because he bullshit. He too good for McDonald's.
Because McDonald's is the killer of all killers in America.
I'm still alive.
Barely.
Kia is so funny, and I thought this too. I sent a video of him sucking his thumb. She said, oh, he'll need braces just like everybody else. I wanted to ask her, can you see if he got the little gum piece to show he don't have a gap? Watch, he have perfect teeth. He had teeth like CJ.
You have teeth like me.
Your teeth ain't perfect now.
Why not?
They're little.
They dingy from miscare, but...
Miscare, let me see.
Look, what are you talking about?
No, they are straight, but they're not like perfect. They still kind of stick out a little bit.
Bro, you a fucking hater.
They do. I'm just telling you the truth.
It's my chop.
So this
I'm sorry, I'm talking to her.
Fast forward to my next visit. The doctor tells me that they reran my test. I was negative. The AFP test was negative. I was within range. So they're basically it's like a false positive. So I could take a breath and, you know, be rest assured that everything's okay. I already knew, you know, the spina bifida wasn't the case. So at that point, it was like, do I have preeclampsia or do I have a risk for preeclampsia later on in the pregnancy? Everything came back fine. All that stress on top of having COVID for nothing. So she gave me the new results, which, you know, had my range was, the number that came up was completely different, but it had me listed as negative this time. As I'm looking at it, the paper still says that I'm diabetic. So that was never corrected. I'm just like, at this point, like, get me out of here. I gotta find another doctor. So all in all, the good news is all is well with me and with baby. I'm here, we're healthy. At this point, I am 28 weeks. I was supposed to have my glucose test a couple of weeks ago, but because I decided I'm switching providers, I'm in the process of that transition. So now I have an appointment scheduled for next week with the midwives at this new nice hospital. I hope I love them. I hope they love me. I hope they treat me right. I hope that I have the birthing experience of my dreams. All these tests, I just don't like. Just let me do this the old-fashioned way. But I understand it's for the best, I guess. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. In the comments below, let me know about any weird experiences you've had with doctors, whether it was your OBGYN or anything that just lets you know it is time to get up out of here. Like, I ain't coming back to this office. And if you have anything else, any questions or anything, feel free to leave that in the comments below. Thumbs up this video if you liked it or if you found it helpful or entertaining or whatever. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notifications bell so you don't miss my next video. And until next time, peace.